The self-proclaimed President of Belarus Lukashenko said that he was afraid of the militants of the PMC Wagner because of their unstable moods. They allegedly want to arrange sabotage in Poland. This is supposedly about the city of Rzeszów, where the airfield is located, which receives military equipment and weapons for Ukraine. Lukashenko stated this at a meeting with Putin, the first after the rebellion of the Wagner PMC.
The Wagner troops began to annoy us. They say that, quote, "We want to go to the west, let us." I say, why do you need to go to the west? Well, in a quiet place, we control what happens. Well, go on an excursion to Warsaw and to Rzeszów. Of course, I keep them in the center, as Belarus agreed. I would not want them to be relocated there because they have a bad mood.
Experts believe that Lukashenko's statements are his next attempt to declare himself as a subject of negotiations and increase his importance for the West. Lukashenko is interested in aggravating the situation near the borders of Poland, because then they can turn to him as a person who can calm down Russian mercenaries. He already had such an experience when, during the rebellion of the Wagner troops, Lukashenko allegedly convinced Prigozhin to relocate to Belarus.
He shows himself to be such a peacemaker, a person who has influence in the post-Soviet space, in the Belarusian media field, shows himself to be such a strong master who is listened to.
Putin himself makes ambiguous statements about Poland. Recently he said that the western lands of Poland are supposedly a gift from Stalin, and the country should be grateful to the USSR for the so-called restoration of independence. Polish Prime Minister Mateusz Morawiecki reacted to Putin's words by calling Stalin a war criminal responsible for the death of hundreds of thousands of Poles. Warsaw will summon the ambassador of the Russian Federation to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs for an explanation. The fact that Putin's imperial manners are not limited to Ukraine is no longer a secret.
If he succeeded in this blitzkrieg in Ukraine, then he would have been thinking about Armenia, Georgia, Kazakhstan, Belarus. About Belarus he already thinks. Transnistria, and then the appetite comes while eating. He thought not about Europe, but about the territories of the former Soviet Union, which for some reason he considers colonies, with the main metropolis in Moscow.
Putin counted on the fact that he would be able to seize Ukraine without hindrance. Instead, he got the West consolidating in the face of threat. In Poland, they decided to develop their military production and increase the size of the army to 300,000 military personnel. The country is actively working to create the strongest ground forces in Europe. Warsaw recently said it would buy 96 Apache attack helicopters from the US to bolster its eastern border. Reported by Roman Smoler, Angelika Brushnevska, UATV News.